Well, Ross, what a lovely day in the south of France. No, sorry, we are on Islay, of course, for Fèis 2025 with a bit of bonus content.
Yeah, I've never been here before, this exact spot.
Yeah, funny that.
Surrounded by yows and wildlife. Speaking of wildlife, we've got our best pal, Georgie, has joined us.
So, Georgie, for those who have been living under a rock, where are you from? What do you do on Islay?
So I'm from here, from Portintruan, where I grew up, and just now I am in charge of the build of Portintruan Distillery.
Which is coming along beautifully, I must say.
What a beautiful
how has it been?
Yeah.
You've still got all the hair on your head.
Just about. I go to the hairdresser about every 6 weeks for a dye job. So, but yeah, no, it's we've had our ups and downs along the way, but really the project's coming on leaps and bounds just now.
And so the project is, of course, the company is Elixir. Elixir Distillers, and so you have a lot more than just this one distillery going on. You've got several brands, and we're actually here to celebrate a Fèis release that you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So Elixir Distillers, we're independent bottlers. Initially, obviously, we've moved into distilling with our purchase of Tormore Distillery and Portintruan build here. But our main Islay-centric brands, our main brands are Portascaig and Elements of Islay. And for the last 2 years, including this year now, our third year, we've been doing a festival release under what we are calling our Fire Trilogy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, we tried it last year during the Indie Festival.
Yeah, we were really impressed. I think there's been a lot of people who are completely, obviously, unrelated to your project and Elixir who say if you want something smoky and good value, Elements of Islay is probably their top choice.
And it is also worth saying we've both been big fans of Portascaig and the various releases they've done, age statements, cash strengths, etc. that we've experienced. So if you're not familiar, it's not a distillery. Portascaig is of course a place on Islay, but they're able to bottle fantastic Islay whiskey and give it an authentic
proper
presentation.
Islay single malt.
Yeah. So we've got great relationships with the distilling companies on the island, and we've been able to purchase, direct, sometimes full tankers of spirits from, and we do our own maturation then. So we try to make sure that it is distinctly got our own flavours from our own wood types that we're using with these.
And so what is our release this year?
So we're doing Campfire. This is obviously, as I say, the third in the trilogy. We started out doing Beach Bonfire, and then last year we did Fireside. And Campfire really is again about being out in the elements of Islay. It's about our blender Ollie's memories of the times that he spent on Islay, and that idea of being outside. You've got the campfire going, you've got maybe some s'mores on the go there as well, and you've really got that, the flavour of Islay really coming through.
How often do we talk about, you can try lots of different whiskies, vintages, distilleries, but it's where you are and who you're drinking it with. That's what makes whiskey special. So let's crack this open and get it in a glass.
Absolutely.
It looks right up your street first and foremost.
Yeah, so
tell us a wee bit about the liquid here.
Absolutely. So we have got liquid from 3 distilleries here on Islay, from both the south coast and the north coast, and a mixture of different wood types. Quite a complex mixture of wood types. So we have got some toasted American oak, some charred, light charred, some heavy charred, but really that colour is coming from Pedro Jimenez sherry butts and Oloroso sherry butts as well that are in that mix. And as I say, we manage that entire maturation of these liquids.
So this release here is going to be a high strength as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry,
no, you're okay. So you're 54.5%. So we do always try and leave a bit more bang for your buck in there. And it sits really well within the rest of the range that we have just now for Elements, which is our sherry cask, our bourbon cask, and our cask edit as well.
Islay blended malt. I like that.
Absolutely.
I like that region-specific blended malt.
Well, it's really about celebrating everything that's gone before us, and that's really what the build here is as well. And what we want to try and achieve with our own production is about celebrating everything, all the history of distilling on Islay, and what is best of everything that you can taste on Islay.
Thank you so much for sharing it as well.
Cheers.
Sorry, Laurie.
Massive on the nose. Really, really tasty.
Actually,
I was going to say
it's quite welcoming as well. There's a freshness to the nose again, which I wasn't expecting from what you were saying there.
Yeah. So,
and again, the strength isn't too in your face either.
No, and I think that's what Ollie tries to do. Is we're trying to make drinking whiskey, and that's what we want. Is we want people buying these bottles and opening these bottles and enjoying them. And whether they're doing that during Fèis on Islay, or whether they're taking that memory away with them and they can taste Islay at a later date, is really important that they have something that really is drinkable and really sort of.
I think the advantage, I suppose, of a blend or a blended malt is that it can be flavour led. And this is
absolutely.
bags of flavour. You're not, you know, shackled by a certain age statement or a cask type. You're starting with, we want to create a whiskey that celebrates Islay, has all these fantastic elements to it, and this is spot on for me.
Huge texture, a really pleasant warming spice, but all those traditional subtle Islay peat smoke notes at the front of the palate, with your big traditional Islay peat smoke notes.
I mean,
on the
it's
back
an
of the palate.
interesting an Islay blended malt when you think about it. Like, we've been fortunate to visit all the distilleries, and they're all quite big characters. So it must be a challenge to say, how do we combine 2, 3, 4 of these, whatever, to create something that works.
And we're lucky that within the casks we have in warehouse, we have whiskey from pretty much the majority of the distilleries in Islay. I think it is very much for Ollie to go round and be thinking about, I mean, he lays down sometimes thinking it's going to go to Portintruan or it's going to go to Elements, obviously, and he's looking at different wood types, and we have great relationships with coopers that we're working with from all around the world, really, whether that's in America or whether it's in Spain. So he has a fair idea of what he's trying to achieve in the future, but sometimes actually you're really just tracking individual casks, because these are quite small bottlings that we're doing for this. So you're trying to track that, and really when he was looking for the casks for this, he was thinking toasted marshmallows, and that's what he was trying to get. He wanted the spiciness that you've talked about, but you see that is quite gingery, a bit nutmeggy, a bit cinnamon, the flavours you'd expect from sherry casks. But at the same time, we wanted something that actually was a bit fresh, so I think there's a little bit of raspberry in there as well, and he was trying to get this almost toasted sweetness that you get. And there's definitely a distillery in the north of the island, which to me has always had that sort of burnt icing sugar sort of flavours, are very sweet, and I think that's what's really bringing that marshmallow.
It is so funny, the nose now is s'mores, it is toasted marshmallow, it is sugar, it's powdered sugar.
Yeah.
A real lovely freshness. It's amazing to get to try this, to experience the Elixir portfolio before Portintruan. And some questions about the distillery, of course.
It's hard to ignore. It's a big old project. How has it been? Obviously, it's been a long project. End is perhaps in sight, potentially. How do you feel Portintruan is going to fit into the Islay single malt scene?
As I say, I mean, for us it is about a celebration of what's come before us. That's the most important thing. And as you've mentioned with how Elixir already do their independent bottling, it is flavour-led. So everything that we're trying to do here is about, really understanding where the flavours come from and focusing on that within our production. Efficiencies are important, but for us really it's about those flavours and trying to create traditional Islay flavours in a modern way. So that's why we have the maltings.
The fact that you have your own malting shows such a commitment to that traditional distilling style. And obviously it's a lot harder work to do all your own malting.
It's making your life challenging.
It does
we
make
like that. We like
but it is true. You look at other historic distilleries in the island who maybe do 20% or so of their production, and we've had it this week during the festival. They say it allows us to experiment, it allows us to chop and change. So that's really exciting to see what you're going to do there. Thank you thank you so much for sharing it with us. What a pleasure to try.
Really impressive.
And what an amazing place to do a video like this.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for your time. Slams. Cheers.
If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Bevvy content. We want to hear what you think, your best whiskey experiences, the whiskies you want us to try. It's a really exciting journey we're on, so make sure to join us. Download the Bevvy app on Google Play and App Store to keep track of your whiskey journey, connect with your whiskey friends, keep track of your favourites, anything you could ever want to do with whiskey, all in one place. It's the definitive whiskey companion.